President Trump putting the burden for an immigration solution squarely on Democrats, saying they've done nothing to reach a deal. The president tweets blasting Democratic lawmakers this morning comes after a week of bipartisan meetings and attempts to find a fix for DACA. Here to weigh in on the next steps is our fair and balanced political panel of all ladies today, which is delightful. Contributor for The Hill and author of Government Gone Wild, Kristin Tate, and Democratic strategist Elizabeth Gore. So, Kristin, I want to go to you first. The president tweeting this morning about tax cuts, bonuses resulting from those tax cuts, and a massive stock market rally. I asked this question yesterday, but it really bears repeating. Why does he ever tweet about anything else?
Well, you know, it's great that he touts his victories. We want to see more of that because he's been such a strong president when it comes to the economy. But I think it's also important that he points out that he's trying to work with the Democrats on certain issues like DACA, but they are really the roadblock when it comes to the Dreamers and making sure that they are taken care of. You know, it really is up to the Democrats whether or not DACA is dead. Trump has repeatedly said that he's open to DACA. He's just not open to blanket amnesty that does not address the wish list that he and the White House have released, most importantly, funding for the border wall. So, yeah, I think it's great that he touts his accomplishments. I want to see more of that. But he also needs to make sure that he addresses the real problems and holdups in Congress because, you know, the media isn't always fair and balanced. He's got to be his own media.
So, but Elizabeth, when we talk about even tweets touting his accomplishments aside, the sort of off-topic, unilateral, seemingly spur-of-the-moment tweets that the president really likes to do, doesn't he sometimes derail his own, not just his own messaging, but his own actual policy objectives? I'm thinking specifically of the tweet earlier this week on FISA that he tweeted out his opposition shortly before the Hill was set to vote.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple things at play here. First of all, the president seems increasingly confused about what his own position is on various issues. And the FISA tweet is a great example. He sent out two contradictory positions in just a couple of hours. And in the DACA meeting with congressional leaders, he took 3 different positions in one single meeting. So it's hard to lead if you don't know where you're headed. And I think that the tweets just reflect his own confusion about exactly what it is that he's trying to accomplish. Kristin also mentioned that, you know, there's burden on the Democrats to get things done. The Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House. It's hard to say that it's up to the Democrats to find solutions to problems and keep the government open. The Republicans are being led by a president that is taking a sort of a sideways path here, and it's just not clear to me that they have the agreement internally within the Republican Party to actually accomplish anything.
All right, so on the deal, take a listen to what Attorney General Xavier Becerra had to say to our own Chris Wallace earlier this morning. I want to get your reaction.
2 decades have gone by. Those individuals in this country have now established businesses. They have gone to schools here. They have families here. And to all of a sudden just jerk the rug from underneath them, I don't think it's the American way.
Now, so Becerra was referring explicitly to the 200,000 or so Salvadorans that the president is sending back to their country of origin. Kristin, what do you say to his comments?
I mean, look, if the Democrats want to protect these people, if they want to protect the Dreamers, they've got to work with Trump. The White House has been extremely clear from the beginning about what their wish list is for any DACA deal. It's, you know, the end of the diversity visa lottery, the end of chain migration, and funding for a border wall. And the deal that was proposed to Trump last week did not fully address all 3 of these items. Here's the bottom line for Trump. It would be political suicide for him to agree to any amnesty deal if all of his demands are not met. He ran on immigration and the border wall. That was his #1 issue. It is why he's in the White House today. And if he gives up on that wall, I think it'll be his George Bush, read my lips, no new taxes moment. His base will turn on him. How he deals with this issue has everything to do with whether or not he's reelected in 2020.
So that's interesting. Elizabeth, Kristin sort of separates out here, forget what you believe, your personal beliefs or political beliefs about what is the right solution here for Dreamers and for other people on temporary protected status in the United States. If the president reneges at all and cedes any ground on the border wall in this spending bill, it will amount to political suicide. Do you agree with that from a political optics perspective?
Listen, I think that the compromise that was put forward included border security. It included some funding for some fencing and some of the issues that Kristin just raised about trying to address some of these other problems. The president himself tweeted, our country needs a good shutdown to fix this mess. The president has expressed a number of times privately that he thinks that a shutdown is good for him politically. And so it makes it hard to see how he's going to be pushing to find a real compromise, to try and find solutions, when he himself has expressed interest in having a shutdown because he thinks that it motivates his base. So I think that's too bad, and I think that, you know, he has to be own up to what he's already said publicly.
All right, ladies, we've got to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've got to leave it there, but you both do a good job laying out the two sides of the coin on these really important issues. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Glad to be here.